All right, guys. So this is Andrew. I'm just going to do the recap for my day. I got crucified today. You know, I had a really couple of bad 4-5 trades right at the open, and you know, really was really tough for me. Sorry, the Benzinga is saying something. So this Benzinga squawk is a feature that we have, but I just wanted to mention that this to everyone. Just one second. Yeah, so sorry, I just mentioned that I took one extreme reversal on BYND in the afternoon that worked for me. Unfortunately, I made the mistake in getting out, so I got out too early. I was hoping to get to 122.43. So these extreme reversals are the type of reversals that we do on the afternoon, and we're gonna have actually a success class based on that. So you wait for a 15-minute chart, the stocks goes up, and then as soon as you start seeing weakness doji in the 15-minute chart, a 15-minute low, plus other criteria like a 5-minute low, and also crossover in the moving averages, so you can actually go short. So that's exactly what the trade I did. So I took short at 126.13. That was my entry. Dropped to 124.45. That's a daily level that we had. Also was the moving average on 15-minute chart. So it did bought back up. My stop loss was now at the break even. Original stop loss for me for this trade was above this. Oh, sorry, that's too big. Above what is this one? Yeah, above this one. You know, so that was my risk about 127. So I just mentioned that, all 127-ish in the chat room. Did drop to 124, so I covered that, and then at 124 and 123.50. But my limit order, I made a mistake in limit order, so I got out. But eventually I wanted to get to 122.43. I don't think it goes down to VWAP because the stock is strong for the day, gapped up, 15%. And even though SPY is selling off, BYND didn't sell off. So this is a complete definition of a stock in play that really doesn't have any catalyst. So SPY started selling off at around 1 o'clock. You see, it's just keep going down toward the daily levels, but BYND really didn't sell much, so it didn't really react to this time. So actually, it did actually bounce back. So when the SPY started selling off for the news, it did actually bounce back around that time. So really didn't care that much. So I would be surprised if BYND really goes and tests the VWAP, but 122.43, that would have been a really nice entry, but unfortunately I messed up. But more than that, I was going to mention about BYND. BA news came in, and a lot of our traders caught that. I was in the chat room as well, actually. So the authorities won't gonna sign on 737 max anytime soon, and we had a very important level at around 320 on a daily chart, and that one comes from on a daily chart comes from this level. So this level was a very significant level around this area on a daily chart, which I think was a 52-week low, and everyone was watching that level. As soon as the news came in, the sell-off started. This good consolidation here was an excellent entry point, for a short, and at 319 all the way up to 310. Did anyone took that trade to the short? I think a couple of people took that. I think Luis took that. Yeah, so beautiful. As soon as the news came in. Oh, he actually got it before the news came in, but I think who else did that? Jared did that. So Jared, can you share it with us? Oh, there you go. So as soon as the news came in from the Benzinga squawk, so the news came in, went short at 319 all the way up to 312. That's a beautiful draw. And again, that is another thing that you want to be part of a community. If you're by yourself and you don't have the scanner, you don't have this news release, you won't catch these great moves. And again, I'm just this is two trades that one of them is with Luis. So he actually got it before the news comes in. So I think he kind of anticipated the break of this 320-21 level, and he got lucky in this drop. But Jared took it based on just the Benzinga. So as you see here, Jared just took it as soon as the Benzinga news came in, and said the authorities won't sign on 737 max anytime soon until January, and then that's a big drop. I was thinking of that, but because I had a really messy day, I just didn't want to touch anything. I was got crucified at the open, and it was not really a day for me to mess around with this stuff. So A10 also one of the traders that almost 2 years. Let me see what A10 did for us. So you went short, you covered here, and yeah, you didn't trade that. So I don't think you caught that big move. A10. So yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, for me generally, so BYND was a trade that I did. I got crucified on BYND at the open. Unfortunately, I did 3 trades on that. All of them were losses. So at the open, beyond, no, that's not beyond. That's yeah. So at beyond, unfortunately, you know, I was waiting for it, rejected this 115 level, dropped below the VWAP, and I thought maybe this is a great area to go short for opening range breakdown. So I went at 1151, and we had this previous day close. It was up maybe 1 or 2% in that time. So, you know, in the pre-market, Beyond was only 3% up. So I thought maybe this is just a small pop overnight and can go down. But I just got to really chopped up. So as you see, it just squeezed back and I got out. After it gets squeezed, I thought, okay, now this is a long. So I went long at 113 something for the break of high after and above. But again, because I had a couple of bad losses and I was in such a psychological mess that I got out almost at the break even, or maybe a little bit of loss here. It did came down, never really lost the VWAP, and after that, you just see how it actually took off. And again, this is an example of having a horrible psychology. You see, I saw the opportunity right at this area after this squeeze at 113 and went all the way up to 120. And obviously, if it pops up, I started scaling out. But really nice ABCD pattern pullbacks all the way up to 119. But I was a mess in this long trade. I was a mess. That was a bad squeeze, and I really didn't see it coming, and that caused me not to trade it really well. I later tried to do another short on that, but I got out of the break even. So I saw that stock is moved on, maybe a little bit out of steam, but it was a little bit too early to take it to the short side. So I took it to the short, came down, I got out. So that I really didn't lost any money on that until I waited for the extreme reversal. And extreme reversal is gonna be a part of our success seminar. So there are 3 criteria for that based on a 15-minute chart. I mentioned that 1-minute chart and 5-minute chart. We're gonna explain that. Ayman and I are gonna have that chart discussion together. So that was Beyond, and 2 other stock that I got really squeezed on that. One of them was LK. This one was the first one that I think was a really bad loss, and again, no one is there to blame except myself. So LK was gapping down in the pre-market. So let me actually bring this gappers watch list. It was down 4% in that time. It just sold off. I took it short for a 1-minute opening range breakdown. I shouldn't have done that because first of all, we never really broke the 1-minute opening range. Second of all, we were really far from almost 1 point for a stock that is $48. That's a lot. So we were far from the VWAP, and I went short and popped up and I got squeezed really bad on that. And I'm glad I got out because just never lost the VWAP, and then after that it actually squeezed up all the way up to high of the days at 48.95. So I actually did test these 2 levels. So that was another loss that I just I had to accept. TAL, same thing. I mean, all of these just I don't know what happened. That again, TAL, nothing happened in the first minute. Lost the VWAP. Again, I took the trade to the short side. It did go down, and I was happy that I'm gonna get at least to 48.51 level, which is the low of the pre-market, and also the daily level that we had. But again, it squeezed back up and I got stopped out. It did lost the VWAP. I went short again, and this time I just didn't feel well about it, and I got stopped out at the break even. So that was a loss. And this one was also at the break even, and I'm glad I got. Look at this huge squeeze. Just you don't want to get stuck in that, and that's a very dangerous part of the trading. So the LK was that, and then TCOM was the other stock that I got. So TCOM was also again a bad trading from me. It was a nice opening range breakdown. It was down 10%, dropped. It was a really good area to go short near the VWAP here. It did drop. I got a fear of missing out, and again, I had a couple of bad losses, and I was just messed up. I went short here, hoping that maybe we can go down. It did came back up, and I got stopped out. As soon as I got stopped out, the drop happened, and I went back short again here. But I realized that, okay, what am I doing? I just got out here. So it's again, the risk to reward wasn't really for me. It was all messed up psychology for me. And came down, dropped the VWAP. I took it one more time short. And we did break the low of the day. I covered some here. I was hoping to get to 33.52 from almost at 33.90 from 34. We get 45 cents out of that, but I was expecting to get to 33.52. We never get into that, and I got out the last piece at the break-even point. So really bad day for me. I got a performance anxiety. I mean, I knew that today I didn't have a really good day. I didn't have a good weekend. It was a little bit unhealthy, a little bit of alcohol, and Vancouver was snowy. I didn't get enough run, and I was a little bit stressed. So it's just I got the performance anxiety. The only thing that I did, and it helped me, was I took my share size small, and that saved me a lot. Taking the small share size. Otherwise, if I was taking the full size that I do, I mean, that would have been a much worse trading. So no position for me here. And as you see, I mean, the loss, although all of them are negative, but again, it's not something crazy because I took my really share size down. And that's a very important lesson that, you know, I wanted to discuss, that you know, you gotta know when you are in a good day and when you are not. I knew it's not a day for me, and as soon as I first lost, I just said, okay, I gotta take my share size. So I have the hotkeys that I can go based on, you know, 50% of the buying power, or 5% of the buying power, or 10% of the buying power. So depending on how you feel, you can actually choose how much of your buying power you can actually work. So that's one thing. One thing I wanted to mention, that is tomorrow, a success webinar. We have a webinar. Let me see if I can press what happens with that. Okay, yeah. So this success webinar that we have for tomorrow, it's called the Journaling Edge, and become a consistently profitable trader through proper journaling. And who's doing that for us? There are two traders from Bearable Traders, Adrian and Igor. Adrian is from Chicago and Igor from Switzerland. Both of them were traders in the community, and they were really struggling with the proper journaling. And what they did, they started chatting with each other in the forum, and they say, "Oh, I'm working on this," and he said, "I'm working on that." And then they actually started a company thousands of miles away. I don't think they ever actually met each other, but they actually came up with this, a platform that you can actually journal your trades. You can connect it to DAS, and there's a lot of things to do. And they started last summer, I think in July, in July, and now the product is ready. They updated a couple of times, and they have over 100 paid and free users on that. So it's just unbelievable, the power of the community. That's what I really want to emphasize on that Bearable Traders, the power of the community. It's not an education company, it's just a community, and how you can actually they're gonna have this discussion. They present their platform. This one, although it's a success webinar, but it's open to all members. So we're gonna have it on the classroom, which is open to everyone, not the success webinar room. And yeah, I really encourage everyone to come. And this is not a sales pitch either. So I mean, we made it clear that, okay, guys, you want to take 1 hour time of our traders, you have to teach them. So there's a lot, they try to add a lot of values as much as possible. Of course, they introduced their platform, but that's definitely not a sales pitch. I mean, that's definitely, we don't want to waste your time by just giving you a sales pitch. Other than that, I mean, the success webinar. So this week, the next week is the options ones, and we have a really good lineup for our success webinar. Carlos and Ryan are really working hard to bring the good speakers, good topic, and useful for the community in there. So I mean, that was not a bad, great day for me. But again, there was a lot of nice moves. I know a lot of people took the trade on Tesla on an opening range breakup. You could take a 1 minute opening range breakup or 5 minute opening range breakup. Tesla all-time high is $546. So I know a lot of people took that. You could trade options on that as well. I mean, I actually did take a couple of screenshots of potential option trades that you can do for the next week's seminar. Rocco was an amazing run. I think Brian called it long, and he just moved up like crazy. But I just didn't have a good trade. And Boeing, the news that came in on Boeing, again, as I showed you, still going down. I'm sure a lot of people are still in there. Bad news, Benzinga is squawk alert, and then break of very important level, and you see how we can actually benefit on that. I was going to go short on that, but again, today is not a day for me to do anything really on that. From all of the stocks that we had, Morgan Stanley was also in our watch list, but I don't think anyone ever traded that. All right, guys, so I just wanted to thank everyone for being here in the community, watching us, and if there's any question, feel free to email us, guys. Have a good day, and cheers.